So I want to jump into a couple of these topics real quick. First of all, I wanted to talk about just the proposal of the start of the season being in December. For me, I would rather see the quality of basketball than the quantity, and really the owners are really trying to push for this start of the season because they have to make up that revenue that they lost during the COVID pandemic that shut down the season for 5 months last year. So they're going to really push for this early start. Then from the players' perspective, especially the older guys and the teams that played into October, which was, of course, the Lakers and the Heat, the older guys, really the vets of the league, they're really not looking for this quick turnaround because of, they want to really heal their body up. They are very regimented, especially as a player. You have to be regimented. You have to get your body used to certain routines in order to be able to go through a long, grueling season of 82 games. And I don't think we're going to play 82 games. I think the proposal was 72 games, but anywhere between 65 and 60 to 65 games I think will be good for the NBA. But I know these owners are really trying to push to get this off the ground this season because of the revenue that they lost. And of course, they're going to push back at the players saying, hey, if we lose this revenue, then that means we can't pay you what you're looking for, especially coming up in the 2021 season when the revenue is supposed to kick back up and guys are going to be looking to get these huge contracts. So I can see, of course, I'm more of the player's perspective because it's a players' league. I would rather see the more quality basketball than quantity. And I think if we rush this season, you're going to see a lot of the older guys just either load manage or say, hey, look, I'm not going to be there at the beginning of the season. I'm sorry, but I have to have my body ready to be able to go through this grueling NBA season. And of course, nothing's normal anymore. We're living in a new world, where players have to really look out for themselves because they go through the same risks as we do as normal citizens, with the COVID-19 virus out here. So I am more siding with the players, but I also have to be not sympathetic to the owners, but I have to look at it from a business point of view. And the business point of view says, hey, we need to get out there and get as many games in to be able to generate revenue for their businesses. So I just wanted to touch on that real quick. And I would rather see a season start in early January. The players, of course, I've heard is MLK Day is what they prefer. But I would rather see, like I said, the quality over the quantity. The next thing I want to touch on is the whole Daryl Morey hiring by Philly. And, I don't know where Philly wants to go with this. If they're going to keep both Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, or if they're going to blow it up. I like Doc Rivers as a hire. I think Doc Rivers is a real good coach, and I think he took a lot of the blunt of the criticism with the Clippers. But Doc is not out there playing. As far as X's and O's coach, I think that Doc is a great X and O's coach, and he's a great motivator for his players. I just think the whole Clipper thing went wrong when, they had Kawhi load managing, Paul George, Palmdale Paul coming in acting like as hip as if he has already won titles. And I think the cohesiveness behind the scenes really derailed that Clipper team this year. And that's speaking from a Laker fan. It wasn't the talent that they had. It was the chemistry that they had. And I mean, you may blame Doc for that, but and not holding those players accountable. But if you're a champion, as Kawhi was in Toronto and in San Antonio, you have to bring that championship attitude and aspect to the table. And I think Kawhi putting his foot down, saying that he's only going to play a certain amount of games, kind of destroyed the fabric of that team from get-go. But Doc in Philly, I think he's going to put his foot down from get-go with demanding what he wants from Embiid and Ben Simmons, if they're even around. We know Daryl Morey likes the whole small ball, analytics ball, get threes up, get to the lane and layups. But what has that ever won? I mean, legitimately, what has that won? Phoenix played the whole small ball, 7 seconds or less. Houston, of course. If you want to say Golden State, I would beg to differ with Golden State, because when you have arguably 3 of the top shooters all time and 3 or 4 of the top 25 players in the league on your team, that has nothing to do with small ball and analytics. That's your talent. That has nothing to do with the analytics side. Talent is what won Golden State those championships. And with KD, Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson and Draymond, that was talent. That had nothing to do with small ball. If you want to say that Houston would have beat that Golden State team if Chris Paul hadn't have got hurt, again, to me, that's talent. That's James Harden. That's Chris Paul. And the talent that they had around them. They had Trevor Ariza. They had, what's their center's name? Their center's name is escaping me right now. But he was a good pick and roll guy with Chris Paul and James Harden, getting to the rack, setting that pick, and rolling to the basket. And he was really good for their system. They also had P.J. Tucker, Gerald Green. I mean, they had guys. They had Nene coming off the bench. They had guys that were fit that system and were great in that system, and it had nothing to do with analytics. It was the talent that they had. Eric Gordon also, let me not forget him. So we'll see what Daryl Morey decides to do. If he's going to stick with his guns and go with small ball, I would see Embiid going. Or is he going to try and make it work and just surround those guys with pieces that will help them be able to get over their hump? Because I think they have the talent with those 2 guys, but they just need somebody to put that talent to work in Doc, and then surrounding him with those pieces in Daryl Morey. The next thing I wanted to talk about, I really am not big into the whole gossip thing. I try and just keep it strictly about basketball and hooping, but I had to touch on the comments that KD made about LeBron, and I'm paraphrasing here, talking about, I beat LeBron twice in the finals. So where does that put me? Because, we're talking about LeBron being in the GOAT category with Michael Jordan. And KD made these statements a couple days ago. KD, come on, my man. Give LeBron his just due. And those rings in Golden State, and I don't knock KD for doing what he did, leaving Oklahoma and going to Golden State to be able to get over that hump. But don't act like it was you, my dude, that took that Golden State team over the hump. Golden State was 73-9 the year before you joined. They had won a title in 2015. So they had already tasted the success of winning a championship before you got there. I think that you sustained their championship run, but it wasn't you that when you got there, you took them over the hump. LeBron, when he went to Miami, he took them over the hump. Dwayne Wade had won with a whole different team, but after that, Dwayne Wade was struggling to get back to the playoffs. They added Chris Bosh, but LeBron was that guy that really made that engine go when he got back to Miami. And then upon coming back to Cleveland, we already know what Cleveland turned into before LeBron got back to Cleveland. And he was able to get that team to the finals and get them over the hump. And then, of course, we don't have to go into what he did for the Lakers this past season. So just come on, KD. I understand you want your just due, and you will get your just due in the end. And if you can really get this Nets team to that next level, then I think we can really talk about being in that category. I think talent-wise, of course, you're in that category, KD. But you don't have to throw jabs at the next man because of what you feel you should be getting as your just due. Just go out there and do it and prove it, show and prove, and I think you will be able to show who you are as a basketball player. But, KD, I'm not saying he's sensitive, but he really likes people to give him his validation. And so just go out there and show and prove, KD. That's all I have to say on that situation. Then just a quick little rumor around, and being a Laker fan, this really put my antennas up, that the Clippers are really saying that they're going to push hard for Rajon Rondo. I think that would be a fantastic move on their part, because Rondo is the floor leader that Kawhi has kind of been pandering to ownership about behind the scenes. And not only that, but from a standpoint that they would weaken the Lakers, because Rondo was clearly the third cog that made the wheel go in the playoffs. The whole playoff Rondo thing really showed up when he got back against Houston in the second round, and then all the way until the championship. Rondo was an intricate part of the Lakers, and if you can not only add him to your lineup, but take him away from the Lakers roster, that would be a huge blow to what the Lakers are trying to do in 2021 season. I don't know if it's going to happen because the Lakers can offer the same amount of money as the Clippers can, but Chris Broussard made a great point, and also Shannon made a great point, saying that does Rondo want a bigger role, because the money would be the same, but if he went to the Clippers, he would automatically be their starting point guard. And Chris Broussard brought up the whole legacy thing because he thinks Rondo is really trying to make that push for the Hall of Fame. And it would be a notch on his belt if he can help the Lakers get to the championship this past year and then go into the Clippers and really be in that cog that can help them turn the tides from their history and what happened this past year. So hopefully it doesn't happen, being a Laker fan. But if Rondo decided to go to the Clippers, that would be a huge blow to the Lakers and a huge shot in the arm for the Clippers. So that was just a couple things I wanted to touch on. I'll be doing more videos about the NBA offseason as we get closer to the draft and free agency.